Hey mathematicians, we worked on locating fractions on a number line, right, that were less than 1. And if you remember, we wrote a note to ourselves up here that a fraction, right, that's less than 1, that means that that numerator is always smaller than the denominator. Okay, so today we're going to look on the back side of this page, which is going to be page 250. And I want you to notice, now instead of locating fractions less than 1, we're going to locate fractions on a number line that are greater than 1. So more than one piece of licorice, okay? I want you to write this down at the top so you can pause the video. It says the numerator is always larger than the denominator. So we've not seen that before, okay? And we're going to take a look at how we would divide these number lines into the correct unit fractions. So we're going to do very much similar work that we did yesterday, but instead of having a fraction that's less than 1, this one is going to be greater than 1. So don't forget to write that down. And let's look at our directions. I'm going to zoom this in so you can see a little bit closer. Okay. Just like we did yesterday. Divide each number line into correct unit fractions. That's the first thing we're going to do. Then we're going to label each point, and then show the target fraction by looping the unit fractions that make it up. Okay, we've done the same thing before, so nothing new, except now instead of just one piece of licorice, now we have 2 pieces of licorice. Okay, so we're going to deal with one at a time, right? But I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to highlight this piece of licorice because that's one number line, and I'm going to do this one in a different color because that's a second number line. Okay, remember, when we're dividing, fractions are equal, right? Equal pieces. We have to do that to each number line. Okay, so each piece of licorice. So we're just going to start, and we're going to do that with the green piece of licorice first. Here's my target fraction. It's 5/4. So remember, this on top, when it's bigger than the bottom, the numerator is bigger than the denominator. This is more than one whole, okay? More than one whole. If I had a whole, remember, that would be 4/4, because when they're the same on the top and the bottom, that makes one whole. I have 5, so not 4/4, but 5/4. So I have an extra unit fraction. I have 1/4 extra, right? Because 4 plus 1 equals 5. My denominator stays the same because each number line, each piece of licorice is going to be divided into 4 equal parts, okay? But we're just going to do one at a time. So because we know that's an even number, we've learned this, we're going to split that number line in half. 4 divided into 2 is 2. So each of these sides of my green piece need to be in 2 parts. Here's how I make them into 2 parts, right? We've practiced this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just focusing on the green part. So remember, I don't have anything here. So this is 0/4, right? My numerator is, or my denominator is 4. This point is 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, which is the same as 1 whole, right? We're not doing anything different. But now I have to take my yellow piece of licorice and I have to divide it also into the same number of pieces. Okay, so my yellow piece now is going to get divided into 4 pieces. Okay, and I'm just going to take my sticky note here and cover that up. Okay, so we're just going to make our yellow one into 4 equal pieces. We can cut it in 2. So there's 2 pieces, and then cut each of those pieces. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, right? They're the same size. But look what I'm going to do. As I continue to label each of those points, I'm not starting over at 0. right? Here I have 4/4. So I'm going to keep adding another fourth. This would be 5/4. One more would be 6/4. One more would be 7/4. And one more would be 8/4. Okay. Doesn't this look like a division problem to you? 8 divided by 4. 8 divided by 4. Count my 4s up to 8. 4, 8. I do that 2 times, right? Look at it equals 2 wholes. Right? I put my 2 pieces of licorice together. Each of them is in 4 pieces, but altogether I have 8 little pieces, right? So now we've labeled all the way up to 2 wholes, or 8/4. Now we need to show this target fraction. We're going to loop those together. We're going to go all the way to 5/4 and then come back around. So starting at 0, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, and then I'm going to go underneath and come back. Connect them up to show that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/4 for my target fraction. Okay, the biggest thing to remember is that each piece needs to be in the same number of pieces. Okay, here I have 3 on a number line, so I have 3 pieces of licorice. So let me just use my highlighter again to show you the different pieces. Here's one piece. Here's my second piece. I'm going to go back to my green. Here's my third piece. Okay, so this number line goes all the way up to 3 wholes, right? 3 whole pieces. But I know that each piece needs to be in this many parts. So my green one needs to be in 3, my yellow one, and my other green one needs to be in 3 equal pieces. 3 is not an even number, so remember this is where we have to kind of use our fingers and our eyeballs, and that's what we do, we eyeball it. So let's make each color into 3 equal pieces. There's 1, 2, 3 pieces. Let's do the yellow one. 1, 2, 3 equal pieces. 1, 2, 3 equal pieces. Okay, so we've divided our number lines into the correct unit fractions. They're each worth 1/3. And then we have to label them. Okay? They have nothing here. 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, which you know is the same as 1 whole. Okay, I'm not starting over. I keep going. 4/3, 5/3, 6/3. Keep going. 7/3, 8/3, 9/3. Okay? Remember, these look a lot like a division problem. What's 6 divided by 3? It's 2. What's 9 divided by 3? It's 3. Hey, fractions are also division problems. We can use them that way too. So now we've divided it. Each piece is in 3 equal parts, because that's what my denominator tells me to do. Right now, I've labeled them all. Okay, I start at 0 and I keep going. I don't start over at 0. I keep adding a unit fraction one at a time. Now I just need to find this target fraction by looping it. So I'm going to go all the way to 8/3. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, 4/3, 5/3, 6/3, 7/3, 8/3, and I'm going to loop myself back around and connect those. Almost looks like a stone bridge, doesn't it, from the side? Okay, or even a caterpillar. So I've got 8 loops, right? And each loop is in 3 pieces, or it's 1/3 of the piece of the whole. Okay, we're going to try one more because I want you to look at this denominator. This denominator is 1. So each whole number line needs to be in one piece. Okay, look at all the number lines I have. Oh my goodness, it goes all the way up to 10. Look at that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 pieces of licorice all lined up from end to end. It's like a whole package, right? We've never seen 1 as the denominator before, right? So if I have a piece of licorice and I have to divide it into one piece, do I have to do anything to it? That's just a whole, right? We're going to write the word whole. So I would say this fraction, 5 wholes. So I need 5 whole pieces. So we're just going to start at 0 and we're going to count to 5. Here's 1 piece, 2 whole pieces, 3 whole pieces, 4 whole pieces, 5 whole pieces. I'm just going to loop myself back around. So these number lines didn't need to get divided into smaller pieces. They were the whole thing. Okay, so when you see 1 as the denominator, that means one whole thing. Okay, now let's talk about something called a mixed number. Okay, this is kind of what I did up here. We took our fraction, this is our whole fraction, remember 4/4 makes one whole, and we had one extra piece, one extra unit, right, on top of it, a unit fraction. So let's look at the bottom, looking at number 11, okay? When it says a fraction greater than 1 that cannot be named as a whole number, so that means we can't, it's like where we don't land on a whole number, so it's these ones in between here. Okay, we call those mixed numbers. Okay, mixed numbers have a whole number and a fraction. So they've got more than kind of one part. Look at, this is what we did up above. We had 5/4. We know that 4/4 is 1, right? And to get to 5, we just had to add one more. Okay, so 1 plus 1/4, right? That's what we did, one whole, that's what this is, and 1/4 more. Okay, let's look at this one over here. 8/3. So I know that each whole fraction would be 3/3, right? Because 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom tells me that that is a whole piece. That's one whole pie, right? One whole whatever, breadstick, whatever you would like to say. Okay? So here I've got 3 plus 3 more is 6/3. How do I get to 8/3? I have 6, I need to get to 8. So I'm just going to add 2/3 more. Okay, here's one whole, here's another whole. We're going to add that 2/3. Okay, so my mixed number for this is going to be 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2/3. So what would it be for this one? 1 and 1/4. That's called a mixed number. Okay? The fraction like this, when it's bigger on the top, is called an improper fraction. I-M, meaning not, so not proper. It's not the right way to see a fraction. Okay, here's one more. 8/6. Well, I know 6/6 is one whole. Right? If I have 6 and I have to go 2 more hops, that's going to be one whole plus 2/6 more. So my mixed number is 1 and 2/6. Okay? This is called an improper fraction. This is called a mixed number, right? It's the same value, it's the same amount. They just look different. This shows us the whole number plus the fraction part.